Yep, there is commentary. Just got back from break.
All right. Thanks everyone for hanging in there, waiting with us. Players were able to get some water, use the bathroom, and now they're going to get to it. So we've got Matthew Okimoto on Mono Wind playing against Chris Neal on Avalanche. The funny thing is that these guys are locals, right? They both go to the same local shop. They both have played a lot with each other on these decks. I think they're both pretty familiar with the matchup. I think Chris knows what he's going to have to do. I think Matt knows what he's going to have to do. So, I mean, realistically, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to, I think, a lot of the opening hands, right?
Yep.
Do we see the cards we need to in order to stall on Matt's side? Do we see, or even just storm off? And then on Chris's side, can I press the gas pedal and go vroom vroom?
We're displaying the trophy right now in the middle of the screen.
Yeah, yeah. Players at home were saying that Matt may have brought that from home. Matt may have brought that from home after his win in Texas. This is an interesting one. So Matt here is going for his second dub, and then Chris is looking to gain his put his name on add another trophy to his mantle, right?
Yep, collection.
Yeah, both of them have small collections at this point. I think Chris won the Portland ReRaise one time, and Matt's won, Portland Crystal Cup, right? Matt's won some event here and there. I think a couple.
Oki using custom made sleeves.
Yeah, like custom sleeves. I really do think that those are some quality sleeves. I'm having a hard time though telling that image. Can you explain to the people at home what that image is?
No. No, it's just a picture of me when we were eating at a restaurant in Pennsylvania. Like after I won, so it was like kind of a celebration at a Mexican restaurant. And yeah, some couple guys took a photo of it and made sleeves of it and passed it around to a bunch of different people. So it was actually on stream a lot. Kind of cringe to be honest, but
Solid investment. It's I think $25 well worth.
He is in finals.
Yeah. Braden did make it to the finals again.
True. All right. So Oki won the die roll. He gets to go, or he didn't win the die roll. He's higher seed, so he gets to choose.
Correct.
And he's gonna choose to go first.
I would assume so. Yeah. I do like this new. It's something that they started doing in Japan for competitive play over there, and we started adapting it here in the States. I do like it. I think it's it rewards the players for performing well in Swiss.
Right. And a lot of the people, especially at the tail end of the day, when they're X1 or like as it gets closer to the last 2 rounds, they're like, I'm guaranteed in. Yeah, I don't care. It's like, I mean, you might care because you want to go first.
It gives you a little bit more motivation to perform. Yeah, absolutely. Matt opting to mulligan here. Chris kind of still, I think, debating.
So he has a Tyro, a Jesse, and a Mott, and a Brynhilder. I don't think this hand is quite good enough. Yep.
Yeah, he's gonna ship it.
We're definitely looking for Wedge here, Barrett here, Polka or Vigoli.
Yeah, I think it was close. I just don't think it was quite there. All right, Matt, gonna go ahead and start us off. So after Matt's mulligan, he opens with a Chocobo Sam. Again, this is something that we really do want to see from as a mono win player. But he's debating on discarding that Phoenix. He knows that Chocobo Sam basically says, I'm gonna get to 3 backups.
And let's see, does he choose to take Chocolate because it's wedge proof or Fat Chocobo?
He goes for the Fat Chocobo. I mean, I think
better curve.
Yeah, I think you just go for the better curve. If you can get to the point where you curve out fast enough, you may not have to worry about a wedge, right? Like I'm so fearful. I think in one of the games I play tested against Chris, and I did do that, I was punished very heavily. So we'll see how it pays out.
Right. So we're gonna have to imagine Oki's next turn is Fat Chocobo. Perhaps potentially another backup, hold 1 card in hand.
Yeah, I think something like an Althea or Pavlov, like any 2 CP backup on top of the Fat Chocobo is probably good.
Right. So Chris Neal here pitching Cloud, 6 CP Cloud, and a fire card. He's grabbing Barrett. He told Oki to I'm passing. Oki probably also gonna play Fat Chocobo and search.
Saving ourselves a little bit of time here because we know we're spending it. Yeah, there's the Althea, right?
Yep.
So we're gonna go Althea into Fat Chocobo. Pretty actually solid start. Matt's gonna already be at 4 backups. So now Chris can start popping off and kind of party
Oh,
attacking.
we're going for Zidane. We're trying to clear the way.
I like it.
So this is good. We're taking away a Barrett. And knowing to like kind of trying to clear the way, right? For our next couple turns. We're almost guaranteed not to get Verited next
Yeah.
turn. So that's Rydia and Amat.
Yeah, so he's got Iridia and Amaterasu. Looks like a wedge.
That's a wedge.
Yeah. So again, the fear of God has now been
Okay,
instilled
so
in me,
now he's
right?
like, oh, maybe that's not the right target. And I think Zaim asked the question if this is the last re-raise in NA/globally. I think it's definitely the last re-raise in NA this year.
Yeah, I think it will be this year, the last re-raise. It makes sense. We're going into the holidays. So a lot of players tend to take that time off, you know. We do have a new set coming up, so there will be some hype, I'm sure, around that. But yeah,
A
it will be.
sandwich between the holidays. Too.
Yeah, it's just tough. So I think that it will be the last re-raise for NA.
There's the Winter Cup in UK.
Yep. So it won't be the last major of the year, but we will get some time off around the cold season, which is great for me being a Californian. I don't like going to places where it's cold.
All right.
So he ends up taking the cloud. Interesting.
So
And I
we
think-
know he threw one cloud away turn one.
Mhm. Exactly. And I think he's just doing that because he's also, you know, he figures that he tosses the Barrett, he could easily go if he makes him discard the Barrett, then Chris could go play wedge, play cloud, haste my board, and then party attack and start really breaking out down Matthew's board and applying a lot of pressure. So by discarding the cloud there, it does in some ways slow Chris down.
Right. So here we can do Barrett into Avalanche. Avalanche would be
Yeah.
really strong here
Yep.
if we have them.
Yeah, if he top decked another Avalanche operative, because he didn't have one in hand at the time. So if he top decked another Avalanche operative, that's actually really good for Chris. It is fairly likely, right? I mean, he's got 6 others on the deck.
Right.
I mean, and plus Tifa's. So
Chris Neal's like, I need to make sure I don't throw the wrong colors because he has a mod in hand too that Oki knows about. Okay, so we play bigs.
and there's the bigs. It's
Okay,
gonna cycle, grab back wedge, play wedge.
Okay, that's an insane start for Neal. We're killing Chocobo Sam, and we're drawing a card.
Yep.
And what this says for Oki is like, if you play Fat Chocobo, it's getting killed.
Yeah, I think Matt just put him basically in a situation where he had to top deck another Avalanche operative. If he didn't top deck another Avalanche operative, I think Matt would have been in a much better position.
Right. So since we played we played Zidane turn 2 to try to like see what we should do the next turn. Do you think we maybe should have just played Fat Chocobo instead, and just say if he has it, he has it?
Well, we knew he had. I think it's. You probably figure he has the 60 in cloud in hand. I guess
We knew he had Barrett for sure, right?
we knew he had Barrett for sure, but he discarded a 60p cloud, right, to play the Vigali.
Uh-huh.
So I'm gonna guess that the only reason he would do that is if he probably has another in hand, right?
Uh-huh.
So I mean, at that point, it's pretty scary. Because it's very likely that you have Avalanche operatives because you're playing so many in the deck that the likelihood of you being able to pop off is pretty high. And if you go to 4 backups, you're probably only risking losing one of the 4 being the Chocobo Sam.
But now Fat Chocobo's a dead card. Listen, not completely, but it's expensive.
It's basically a 5 CP backup to play a 2 CP backup, but that 5 CP backup is going to get blown up real quick.
Yeah.
So definitely not a feels good.
So next turn, Chris Neal still has the Amaterasu in hand. Or no, we discarded the Amaterasu.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a good draw.
Yeah. The only card that we know, and Chris, or we don't know any.
We
of the
don't know
cards.
any card.
Because he only drew one card off of the big.
So Oki here is trying to stem the bleeding. This Typhon is not a forward.
Correct.
What are we shipping away here? I'm assuming it's Barrett, but
Yeah, I mean,
it's rough because we're still getting that. Like Wedge says, you can't really play the backups you want to play. Off card.
rough.
Oh no. So this means because he drew a card, Barrett is going to be drawn next, right?
He would have gone for it. So Barrett's the top card of the deck right now, basically.
Yes.
Dealt 1 damage, draw 2. Dealt 1 damage, draw 1, draw 2. So Barrett's the top card of the deck. So Oki could put in a damage with the Zidane.
Right. That's another thing that you have to like kind of worry. Like the best players who play Wind keep careful track of their opponent's cards because they have Typhon, which kind of combos with Zidane, as well as letting you attack safely. So these are kind of important things that these players are keeping in their mind while they're playing their game. Like the best players will.
Yeah. I mean, we know if we can count to 7 with Lusa, we should be able to count to 4 with Typhon.
I can only read picture books. I need the face up. The face up.
Gotta have the pop out.
Yeah. All right, so play Tyro. Wonder what we're searching. What will you search? Barrett?
I think you just grab a Cloud because there's already a Barrett in your. No, it's not Barrett in the break zone, right?
No, Barrett got shipped away.
So Cloud. Cloud maybe just clears the way.
Cloud is 10k haste
Yeah.
at worst.
Kind of interesting. I think also searching the Cloud here tells us that we don't have something in hand like a Tifa or another Avalanche. It tells that we might have another Avalanche operative, right? Because next turn Chris could discard that Avalanche operative, playing the Cloud, and then pasting and having 4/4s now that could punch in for lethal.
Right. So
The other nice thing about playing the Tyro there is that it makes it so Barrett's no longer on top of the deck, so Zidane can't put it into damage anymore. So effectively, you're protecting your Barrett as well.
as well as being having 2 Earth backups lets you play 2 Avalanche operatives, and lets you play Barrett on curve. What's going
I'm
on?
not sure. He's changing the Tyro target. I'm not sure why. Or maybe I might have missed something. I'm not sure. Maybe Oki's just being nice guy, letting Chris,
Yeah.
do something else.
And I think
maybe Chris thought the same thing. Like there was he misstepped with the thinking that he could just Cloud revive the Barrett, but there's no Barrett there. So
he
talented Oki hitting into an EX burst on stream, right? Classic.
I think it was Oki being nice, letting him change his mind before combat.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. David White Mage has said, Matt allowed Chris to change his search target. So both players were in the they were playing a little fast too, he was kind of just like, yeah, I'm gonna get this go.
Well, like I said, both these guys are friends. They're as competitive we want the event to be. We also, Matt doesn't want to walk away from the event knowing that he won necessarily because his opponent played like a baboon, right? He wants to win because he earned it. So he's gonna allow Chris to take, to play to the best of his skill.
Right, and that potentially might be different if there was a Worlds invite, right?
Yeah,
but this is this is still a competitive event, but it's no like Nats on the line, Worlds on the line for these players.
Yeah,
we're just here to have a great time.
Correct. Yeah. I think we're at this point. They're playing for a trophy, right? They're playing for pride. So.
Yep.
And
stuff he plays. I was informed that the VODs are turned on. Specifically for this Final Fantasy event, they would be edited before being posted.
Yeah.
I'm unsure about the Digimon stuff.
Yeah, so basically what they're gonna do is they're going to go ahead and cut out some of the white noise. Like when we took some of those breaks, they're gonna mod the footage a little bit just to make it easier and a little bit more palatable to watch for the average viewer, which is really nice. So
Yep. All right. So we have 2 forwards. We're at 3 damage. I don't think there's a way for Chris Neal to win this turn because one of our cards got Zidane. I know he drew Marlene, so I think he can get the 6 CP cloud back. And I think it's like, do I have the CP to get it back and play it?
doing some quick math.
Yep.
We need our boy KP on the phone to calculate this one out for Chris real quick.
Hey John, how's it going? It's grand finals, game 1 right now.
Yes, sir. Excited to see some familiar faces in the finals. I'm sure John knows these players well. He's a lot of the other guys do at home. I mean, Chris is just, I think, taking his time. Like I said, this is finals. Similarly to what we've done in some of the other events, is that the top cut matches were all timed, but typically the finals matches have been untimed. I think that this is going to be the same here. I'm assuming the finals match was also untimed, but we'll see. So yeah, Marlene, gonna go ahead and grab back that cloud.
Quick math says we don't have enough.
Yeah, but
Party draw.
Matt takes it. Matt takes the damage faster than Chris can actually draw the card.
So I think Oki's kind of right now in the mindset of I've lost this game.
Yeah. He's got 1 card in hand. He's gonna lose that.
1 backup. Yeah. We can't play Luso. We're looking pretty doomed here. And sometimes this is how the matchup goes. So Chris Neal played exactly what he wanted to play, right? And it's up to Mono Win to draw out of it.
Yeah, Chris, I think, just applied enough pressure to Matt early to where Matt didn't have a whole lot of options. He kind of had to play into what Chris was doing. I mean, the cards in his hands really weren't going to get him there.
Oki doing a quick heat check there to see if he hits a 3rd burst. Now we're ready for game 2.
Yeah. But let's see, the Atamos into Luso. It's almost going to activate the Althea. Is he gonna? Okay.
Yeah, yep. So it's just almost impossible for Mono Win to come back at that point.
Yeah.
Both players kind of know it. No matter what burst Oki hits, as long as Mono Win needs to be on 3 backups to really play the game.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've seen Mono Index storm off on 1 to 2 backups, but that was brutal. I mean, it's very difficult. You have to at least have a decent grip of cards in hand, and Matt just didn't have it.
Yeah, he had to answer every threat that Chris Neal played, like turn by turn.
Yep.
And he was playing off the top of his deck of the game there.
Yeah. Chat saying they enjoy seeing the Mono Win deck get stumped. Yeah, I mean, Chris is playing the deck to do it right. One of the things that we talked about, I think, going into this event was that we were scared to play Mono Win because we knew Avalanche was going to be a deck that was going to probably be represented. And honestly, Avalanche just goes fast enough to where they can just blow the Mono Win player out the water. And they've got, the high cost backups that Wedge just gobbles up. Yeah. It's not an easy matchup for the Mono Win player. So, I mean, Chris knew going into this that it was going to be a match in his favor, and he pushed the agenda the way the Avalanche player needs to do.
Right.
Yeah. So
I will say, I think Avalanche was kind of underrepresented in this tournament. I personally only saw 2 when I was walking around.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see a ton of it. I actually didn't even play against it. I did dodge it during Swiss. So
I forgot you played in it tournament too.
Yeah. You're just having so much fun with me day 2.
Yeah,
I just completely forgot I was here on day 1. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, yep. But I mean, it kind of makes sense. Soares has better bursts. They're both kind of fulfill the same role, except Avalanche checks the Mono Index.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting rock paper scissors thing, right? Because I think Soiree has a decently positioned matchup against Avalanche. Avalanche blows Mono Wind out the water a lot of times, but Mono Wind has a really good matchup against Soiree. I think what ended up happening was that probably the Avalanche decks scared a lot of the mono win gamers off, which brought out a lot of the Soiree decks.
Yeah.
And now because the Soiree decks have all kind of come out, mono win is kind of getting a resurgence.
And I would be willing to bet that if there was another tournament like next month, next week, you're gonna see more Avalanche.
Yeah,
People are gonna be ready to beat mono win.
yeah. We might even see some hot Bart Spoko decks.
Yeah, Bart Spoko almost like had a very good chance of winning the whole thing.
Yeah, I really do think it did.
So,
Yeah, John, I agree. Oki sleeves very fire. There was quite a few of those sleeves running around the tournament this weekend, and got a few spots on stream. But Matt opening with the 2CB backup, dodging wedge fodder.
Yep. Unfortunately, the rest of the deck is mostly wedge fodder.
Yeah.
Norstallin, Chocobo Sam, Fat Chocobo. What do we have left? We have Stiltskin, we have Pavlov, Althea.
Yeah. And the Chocobo, the 2CP Chocobo backup. But Oki's kind of mapping out what he's thinking he's going to do here. Chris, with the Rydia, a little bit of a slower start, not also quite the backup you usually want to see as the win player, or sorry, as the Avalanche deck. Usually you want to open with the Vigali, or you want to open with the Kolka to go ahead and grab your Barrett very quickly and start applying, like we said, that pressure.
Right.
A little bit of a slower start from him. So we'll see how it unfolds. But
you know what card Oki probably wishes he had in his deck? Meon. You do Zidane Meon, dude. It's so good.
Yeah. You know what card I'm grateful that's not in Oki's deck?
What?
Meon.
Okay. Oh, so now we have the rectified play.
Yeah,
So we can activate our 2 targeted backups before the search.
correct. Yep, gonna grab the 2CP Chocobo from the deck.
And this is we'll see what Oki chooses to do here, but we can leave the Fat Chocobo untapped and guarantee that Wedge can't kill a backup.
Correct. And if he does do that, the nice thing is, right, Chocolate was played last turn, so he'll be able to start racking in some of those counters.
Right.
And this is a big difference there's a big difference in this game on Oki's side of the table from last game, right? Oki's already on 3 backups with an Atomos in play. That's not something he had last game. He's got the cards he needs on the board to begin doing a storm turn. So there's a solid chance that if Chris does decide to pop off and apply pressure to Matt may have a response.
Right. And I think Oki recognized how important it is to have 3 backups and make sure that they can't be destroyed by Wedge. He actually paid 2 to play Atomos. A lot of people during the normal game, you want to play Atomos on curve. You don't want to just like pitch a card just to play it.
Correct.
But it's important enough in this matchup that Oki chose to play Atomos and then Fat Chocobo.
Yeah, I mean, discarding a card costs you 2 CP, but now you save your Fat Chocobo, which can produce an extra how much CP for you throughout the rest of the game, especially as mono win, because that backup's going to untap and tap quite a bit.
Right. And TCG Titans is asking, does Chris run Noctis?
He does not, actually. So Noctis was a card Chris pulled in and out of the deck, and he ultimately ended up not liking it. There's too many times where he wanted to dump his hand, and Noctis was the card that was getting in his way from playing more Avalanche operatives. So he actually did end up cutting it.
That's an EX Alexander first damage.
Plot armor strong.
This is a really good start for Oki. Like, I feel like he probably also feels like he has a good chance at winning this game.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. The Alexander. So as the mono win player, you need to have enough cards in hand to be able to storm, right? So going to 4 cards in hand in this situation is pretty good. It might give him just enough to be able to count, to 7. I don't know that this is the necessarily board state you care to do it against. Is Chris's board is honestly not that intimidating right now, right? Like, but we'll see.
Very true.
Yeah, Typhon on that Barret. Chris doesn't have a whole lot of cards in hand, so I mean that's pretty good, right?
So it's guaranteed that Chris next turn cannot play 6 CP Cloud
Yep.
up to haste his board. He can't haste Wedge. So it's actually just safer Oki to tap out his Fat Chugabone in this turn. There's nothing to do, like nothing that can be done.
Yeah, I mean, because of the Chris only has one card in hand. There's not a lot he can do. Even if he draws another Barret, he's discarding 2 to play the Barret, right?
Right.
So he knows more likely than not, like Chris is just gonna draw pass. Like it's just not gonna, or if or play backup
pass or
yeah,
nothing that helps him.
I mean, that's why he's comfortable with tapping that Fat Chocobo. He's not really that intimidated at this point in the game. So
this is the classic dilemma of any player playing against an Atomos. Do I let them get the damage 3? Like,
yeah,
Oki has a blocker, but there's a good chance he would let it through anyways, because untapping on attack is so powerful.
oh, hands down, I would absolutely take that damage. I think anybody who's a fan of Thomas would.
Like, please attack me.
Yep, allow.
He
So-
probably gets a spot here.
Yeah, he's gonna go ahead and fetch that 6 CP Cloud. So now next turn he will have enough cards to actually be able to play that Cloud. So I think that next turn is probably the turn where Chris is gonna look to really pop off and maybe push Oki out of the game. But Oki's got a turn to actually answer the board state. If Oki can clear both these Avalanche operatives, I think he'll put himself in a really good position because Cloud won't be able to get its effects off.
Yep.
So I think if this was a turn to Storm, or if there was a turn to Storm, this is it.
And it's so nice because Oki already has Atomos down.
Yep.
Generally, you want Atomos and Rosa, but you're okay usually with just one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think usually as the mono win player, obviously you want both, but you can't always have everything. So I think just getting one of that, I think having just one of them is oftentimes enough.
And Rob points out another line. Playing a 4th backup and having Fina in your hand is also really good. Being able to cancel the Cloud auto ability when it comes in.
Yeah, that's also very true. I mean, if he just plays another backup and Chris dumps his hand, there's the Norse Talon.
What did we pitch here? Is that a Lulu? Our hand is really good at pitching Lulu.
Yeah, if we're pitching Lulu, I think we probably have to have 2 really gas cards, right?
So I think we get Althea here. Yep.
Yeah.
And Althea will untap 1. Atomos will untap 2. And we'll be at,
I mean, so Oki's only got what with the Althea 3 cards in hand. So I don't even know if he's playing the Althea this turn, because if he's playing the Althea, then he's not really taking advantage of the untap probably. If Rob's line is correct in that he has a Fina in hand, right?
Interesting that Oki's choosing to activate. He should be activating the 4 and the 5.
It looks like that's what he's targeting, and he's also targeting the Chocolate, right?
Right. So this is super smart because Chocolate has a ability that actually matters.
Mm-hmm.
We can add counters and draw a card. And then targeting 4s and 5, making 4s and 5s active makes us so Wedge can't kill him if somehow that were to happen.
Yeah. But you see what he did here is he ended up playing Zidane. So he just rips the Cloud out of Chris's hand. Even if Chris top decked another Cloud, again, he doesn't have a CP to play it.
Right.
So that's why he's comfortable tapping out.
It's all off this one backup. If we had 2 backups, we could basically play everything.
Yeah. Yeah, the Zidane ended up, I think, being kind of a linchpin. Chris is just having a really slow start. Oki being already at 5 backups with an Althea, a Typhon, and a Tamos. He's in a very, very commanding position at this point.
Right. And
like in Chris's shoes, you're drawing for turn. You've got, again, you're in the same situation like you were a turn or 2 ago, right? With 3 cards in hand. Any turn you take is really not going to be that impressive with only 3 cards, right? As the Avalanche player.
I think Chris's best play here is to draw Wedge and play Wedge, because at least you can get 2 triggers off with the Tifa plus the Bigs attack.
Yep.
I don't know if that's good enough, because in exchange for killing 1 backup, we're turning on Atomos.
Yeah.
So we're losing 1 CP on Oki's side, but we're like gaining 4 the next turn. soon as we attack.
Yeah, it's really scary party attacking here, just because, especially without a Barret, like Oki has the inevitability of a storm turn. And so you're turning on that Atomos, which makes that storm turn that much easier.
Yep.
And so now if you get board wiped, are you just that much further out of the game for choosing to party attack there?
Right. I think it kind of comes down to like making them have it, but I think Oki has had plenty of time to assemble his tools, get everything he wants.
The other thing also is that he does have I think an Amaterasu in hand, so he might be able to stop the Luso pop off or the Atamos untap. So that might be what Chris is hoping to lean on, and hoping that once he Amaterasu's the following turn, he can push Oki for lethal.
Right. And of course, it's always really rough committing an Amaterasu when you potentially can't kill the forward because Chocobo and Althea are on the board.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just like, dang, my attack is making me discard 3 cards.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a rough place to be for Chris, but we'll see if he can get out of this.
Yeah. It looks like he's debating if he wants to go a little further this turn. So he's kind of mapping out now going into main phase 2 if he's going to extend further on the board. I'm not sure.
I mean, we can keep in mind that Chris Neal's deck also has a decent amount of EX bursts. EX Tyro getting us 2 extra CP, Carbuncle drawing us a card, are probably the ways we get back in this game. I mean, we're definitely like in trouble, but I don't think we're out of the game yet.
No, I agree. The other nice thing is that, Carbuncle is a card that makes it so Oki actually has to get to a higher storm count, or have a Bismarck, because the Carbuncle will put our Avalanche operatives to 9k. Luso dealing Luso dealing 8 means that it's not going to kill them, right? So
right now we cast this Carbuncle, so this says if you have only Earth backups, you draw cards. So I think we're digging a little bit. In combination with Terra doing 2k, we can ping the Zidane or the Typhon, whatever Chris's plan is.
Yep.
And we know he has a Brynhilder. So
it's going to 2k.
I think we 2k the Typhon. Okay, draw. I think that's a Vigali. Oh, and we have a Cloud.
Yeah, but it looks like he's discarding it to Brynhilder. He's going to go ahead and try and delete the Typhon. And he would go back up to 3 cards.
Denying the auto ability from Terra.
Yep.
So this isn't even dying.
So Typhon would only take 7k and he lives.
Right.
And Chris sticks with only 2 cards in hand. Zidane's also 7k. So Terra's not going to be able to get through.
Okay,
he's going to coup Sith.
So I think the reason why Chris Neal went down this path is he doesn't have much of a window of opportunity to kill this Typhon after Oki untaps because Althea will be up.
Yeah.
So we kind of have to kill it now. Otherwise, we could Althea bounce it, do all kinds of shenanigans. And we're still in a kind of a rough spot because we have to pitch our whole hand basically to do that.
Correct.
But Althea being such a like defensive tool to ward off interaction is just so strong, right?
Yeah, and he really needs to continue to apply. He needs to push Matt on damage. Like that's why he does the attack with the Terra there, knowing that he may only have 2 cards in hand, but he's offering the trade with Matt because his Terra's a 7k. He needs to push him on damage, right? Any body he has, he's valuing as a point of damage. So he's just turning that card sideways and hoping that he can, because if Matt takes that damage, he goes to 4. Chris still has 3 forwards because he took the damage, and Chris has the opportunity to go for lethal. But it's just, I think Matt snap blocks there and untaps 5 and does Tamos mono win things, right? Like,
and I still think that was like a very well played turn by Chris Neal. I don't think very many players would opt to do that,
Yeah. Because even if, like, let's say he decides that he's not going to attack with the Terra. Matt can continue just to abuse Althea and Zidane and keep ripping cards out of Chris's hands. So Chris's following turns are very subpar, right?
Right. And all in all, that turn was still pretty good. We got rid of a Typhon, which can be constantly replayed, and we got rid of a Fina from Oki's hand. So technically, our 6 CP cloud is live again. Now he could draw another Fina, but
Yeah,
we got rid of at least one.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it looked like a rough turn for Chris, but he did answer 2 forwards and he got the Fina out of Matt's hand. So, given the position that he's put in, that was actually a pretty positive outcome.
And I think Oki kind of maybe drew double backups or something because he's been thinking for a long time. I think when you kind of draw dead, you have to Althea to bounce something, replay and hope something else happens.
Kind of continue.
You can replay Norse Talon to grab Stiltskin, which will draw you Luso. When you replay Althea, you can untap a backup, so Chocolate gets more counters.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes. So he has the Asura. He's whipping out the dice.
Okay, so this is a storm turn, basically.
Yeah.
Is what's going on.
He's gonna go ahead and grab that 2 CP Zidane. He is as we say, the real thief.
Yeah.
Stealing a card from his opponents.
2.
Yep. Triggering the Atomos, triggering the Althea. 3.
Stiltskin 4.
Yep, gonna go ahead and grab that Luso.
And because Adamus gonna untap, we get 4 extra CP to work with.
Yeah. Cool.
This is why having the dice is kind of helpful because sometimes you lose track in between combat and main one,
The other thing is also now that he's put the Stiltskin into play, his Chocomogs are live. Like they were already clapping for damage, but now they're gonna draw him a card too. So it's kind of why I think he went that line. The other thing is also it's not a backup that Wedge can break.
Right.
Which is nice.
Hey, you guys, the Final Fantasy fellas?
Yeah.
Maybe you can help me out then.
Sorry. We had a question from one of the players. So it looks like Zidane attacked. Adamus attacked. We stole a cloud. Okay, so we attacked with Adamus and we hit 5 CP cloud. Cloud only does 3k, doesn't do anything. Now he played Zidane for the 4th cast. Go for 5 here. I think Althea has summoning sickness, right? We already used it. But Brian and I are still okay. And I heard there was a fun thing done by Tabletop Tavern where if any player opened a full art X stuff out of their prize packs this weekend, they would win a box. And it looks like one of our players just opened a full art X stuff. So the bounty has been claimed.
Oh, someone managed to pull the full art.
Yes, someone pulled the full art X stuff.
Was
and
it-
won a box.
Was it Doritos?
It was Doritos.
All right, local San Diegan Doritos.
Okay. So Oki is continuing to do storm things. That's what you missed.
I missed a little bit of solitaire.
Yeah. Well, we played Zidane and we got the 2 CP Cloud.
Okay. I
And
think we talked about that earlier. There's not Cloud would sack himself for a 3-drop. I mean, sacking himself for like a Yishtola or something is pretty good.
And so when Oki played Luso, he top decked the Chocobo for the 7th cast or 6th and 7th cast,
Oh wow.
which
Okay.
was insane. So we stole this 2 CP Cloud, which can break a Cat 7 forward during a main phase.
Yep.
And play any forward of cost 1 greater than that to the field, right?
Correct.
So we can play Rosa and win.
Yeah, like Rosa, Lulu, Yishtola, those are our targets right now. for this
Fina,
card.
if you have Chocobo, you can Fina the Chocobo.
Yeah, you can Chocobo, or you
Or
can
Chocobo
Althea.
the Fina.
Yeah,
sorry.
you Chocobo the Fina or Althea back to hand. Yeah.
Right. So there's kind of like tricky / sneaky things you can do.
Yep.
Which is always a fun thing when you play the 2 CP Winzidane. Like sometimes you get a searcher that says like search a Cat 9 character, and you're like, I have a Cat 9 character in my deck. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like a mini game, you know?
Chris looking to Brynhilder the Zidane here. I mean, I'm not sure that Oki has a lot he can do. You said he top decked the Chocobo, but he already used it, right? So
Right. He used it on Luso to get the Cat 7.
gotcha. Sorry, I stepped away for a sec.
I
Dang.
think Chris Neal is probably accepting that he's dead right now. But you know, we don't really want to give up, you know.
Yeah.
We could somehow come back in this game.
Yeah, a lot of times Avalanche is one of those decks that we've seen it in the past be very, very explosive. So, you know, it can randomly just get there. Sometimes if you attack into the wrong cards, like you can hit a Marlene, a Sith, just these EX bursts that allow you to kind of creep back into the game. So I wouldn't say it's over for Chris. I mean, Matt still has to deal 6 points of damage, right?
Right. And you know what the funny thing is about this game is it kind of demonstrates the power of mono wind. We know Bismarck is actually on the watch list.
Yep.
But Bismarck is probably one of the like cards that we've seen played the least from all of our mono wind players, right?
Yeah, even me playing it this weekend, I think Bismarck was kind of like a lot of times the card you played when you were really just like putting the final linchpin on your opponent of like, all right, I'm slamming this down because I'm going to put like a Lulu or something back into my hand so I can continue to do things the next turn. But I've already done for the most part what I really want to do.
Right.
I think cards like Lulu and Rosa are really some of those enablers for this deck.
Yeah, Chocobo summon.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Obviously Luso, but you know, those cards are the enablers of Luso, right?
Right. And here it looks like Oki's going off again. Just because he can. I think Red Rose. I know you were commentating. I think the big Australian Nats this weekend. I don't really know who won, but you said Mono Win won.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean,
I know that was a 2-deck format too. So that one is a little different because when you play 2 decks, you can kind of construct your deck so like maybe both of your decks will lose to 1 deck, but it doesn't matter because both of your other decks have good matchups against a lot of other decks in the room.
correct. Yeah, sometimes if you can tune your decks to lose to one, kind of just accept that deck as a loss and move on.
Right.
And you know, I think that was some of the things that like you did right when because you won the PA event, right?
Right.
Doing that 2-deck format, so it's a pretty solid strategy.
Yeah. It's like Oki's just attacking. Tyro? Oh no, that's a stolen Tyro.
Dodging EX burst is what
Dodging
he did
EX.
actually.
Bro, that heat check, man. Last
Yeah.
game.
Oh, and there's the Tyro, though.
Okay.
So see, this is what I was talking about. Like hitting that Tyro is kind of scary, right? Like now he's gonna grab. What's the best card you can grab? Like it's got to be like a Cloud or
6 CP Cloud, because he already has a Barrett in hand, I think.
Mhm.
We searched off Boca.
I mean,
Tifa at damage 6 is very strong.
yeah. The scary thing, the thing is though, is that like you don't have the CP to go Barrett into Cloud, right? And you need to have an Avalanche operative in play in order to get Cloud's effect. So I'm not sure that like that's like what we really want, you know?
Right. And this is one thing that I think when you play Final Fantasy, you have to realize sometimes it's not safe to attack, you know? You want to attack when you've guaranteed a win, right? So this is kind of what Oki's doing. He's like, attacking where no matter, even if he hits like 4 or 5 bursts in a row, he'll probably still win the game.
Yeah. And it's like we said, right? He just slammed down that Bismarck because it's the linchpin. Like he knows that he's got this Bismarck in play now, and he just put the Lusa back to hand. As soon as Chris drew, he saw his 2 cards. Like, yep, all right, we're ready for game 3 now.
Yep.
You've done what you set out to do. So I think it kind of goes back to what we said at the beginning of this match, right? Game 1, the Avalanche player got to do what he wanted to do.
Right.
He kind of just dominated and took over the game. Matt, the mono win player, did what he wanted to do in that game, and less so Chris, right, as the Avalanche player. So when both players decks get to do what they want, they're gonna run over the other, right? That's
Right.
just the case. So it'd be interesting to see what happens in a situation where Matt doesn't necessarily stumble in the early game with those expensive backups like he did in game 1, but Chris has still a pretty solid running game at the beginning of the game, kind of like he did in game 1, right?
Right. And it's kind of a thing, but the nature of this matchup is like sometimes no matter how good of a start mono wind is, like I mean, you're gonna get wedged.
Yeah.
And like the Avalanche start is just gonna be better. Sometimes there's just a lot of one-sided games.
Yeah. It's just kind of the nature of the game, right? And then
Right.
I think it's the skill of a good player to recognize that it's a really bad matchup for the mono win player. I mean, I could easily see someone going like a very like turn 1 Barrett.
And it's definitely not an unwinnable matchup too. Right?
Yep.
But it is tough. I think the closest games I usually see of this is like when the Avalanche player has a good start, but then the mono win player still has enough to storm to not die.
Yeah.
But then they're like playing off the top with limited resources while the Avalanche player is like still has some cards.
Yeah.
Those are like generally the closest matchups I've seen.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's funny. Sam Prime says in chat, well, Avalanche on the play against Win, where can I place my channel points? I mean, I don't know. I mean, in Swiss, actually, I don't know if people know this. That's what happened in Swiss, but Matt was actually able to clinch it out against Chris in Swiss.
Right. This is the run back.
Yep. So Chris is getting the opportunity to go back. He took game 1 pretty convincingly on the draw. So we'll see.
I see a wedge, I think. 2 Q6. Not. Right. It's a weird hand. We really want wedge, but the rest of our hand isn't very good.
Yeah. So it's kind of awkward. I mean, and Chris knows that, but I think he knows if he doesn't have a way to explode, it's just not going to be as impressive.
Right.
I'm not sure that I keep this.
I think I would mold this
Yeah.
because there's no guarantee that I do anything good.
So
Game 3.
okay.
If we keep this, I call collusion. Good morning, Eureka.
Yeah. As the sun sets, we got a handful of players. They're still hanging out, having fun, jamming games. But yeah, players are starting to head out.
The Wolves Den is closing,
Yeah.
And there were a lot of fun side events today. I think a couple winner boxes fired, pack per wins fired.
Yeah, they did a $3 pack per wins. They did some winner boxes. They did drafts. They did the Wolves Den had some interesting was it achievements? Yeah, like there was most crystals generated, largest party attack, largest power forward you could produce.
First full art X theft opened.
Yeah, finally, like right as the finals is happening, that was a bounty that was put up, I think, beginning of day
Yesterday,
1.
yep.
Yeah, finally achieved.
There was like a scavenger hunt at this event too.
Yeah, they
It
did a
was real
scavenger
cool.
hunt where they put a bunch of cards all over the place. They did trivia yesterday.
Yep.
It's awesome. White Mage and as a TO working with the store, I think him and Inez, they really put a lot of hard work into making this event fun for the community.
And I think we're keeping this. No? Okimoto. Okay, so Chris Neal said he was keeping Okimoto. Oh. Dang. I think we're turn 1 wedging here. Do we have a backup? Oh, okay.
Oh,
We
he's
had
got
Barrett.
turn one Barrett. Okay.
Oh, okay.
We might have missed the Barrett. That's all.
This is a okay. Wait, did he top deck this? I feel like if he had this, it'd be a snap keep, right?
Mm-hmm. I would assume the only reason he kept that is probably the sneaky Barrett that we didn't spot.
Yeah. Because we saw the summons and the wedge.
Yeah. But I mean, it's kind of one of those things where you put your opponent in a situation. Chris is basically calling Matt's bluff. Did you mulligan for Tyra or Typhon? Like, like, do you have it or not?
Yeah, Ogie's in a rough spot here. I think if we have Norsh, we're playing Norsh into Pavlov or like a 2 CP.
Mm-hmm.
And if we have Chocobo Sam, we're grabbing Chocolate because we can't afford to play 4 CP backups.
Yeah.
So we'll see what Oki does here. This is not what he wants to see turn 1.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Stiltkin, good start.
No wedge fodder.
Okay, we
Just
discarded a
discarding-
Fina and something else.
It might be 2 Finas actually.
2 Finas. And this was Oki's mole, so we know he did not keep like an optimum hand.
Yeah. Yeah, chat's confirming it looks like he did discard the double Fina. Yeah.
That's rough.
So we grabbed the Luso here. So it's again kind of like I think we saw a little bit in, I forget if it was game 1 or 2. Oki playing choosing to play the Stiltskin. He's got it. He's got to set up for a storm turn here. Luso's this card that's going to get him there. It's obviously the more or less the win con card of the deck.
Right.
So,
And if he has Stiltskin's like 1/2 of the Chocomog draw because it's a job is it Moogle?
yes,
Job
correct.
Moogle.
Yeah, Stiltskin being Job Moogle, and then Chocobo being the other half of Chocomog, right?
Right.
Or Chocolate.
So I'm on Oki here. I think I really need to see Alexander
Mhm.
on damage.
Yeah, I mean, I think just we said it before. Draw.
Oh. This can play a free cloud from our hand if we want to.
It's either a free cloud or, I mean, he could also just attack individually. And
Okay, we're going
push for
for we're
lethal.
going for fast damage here. Very smart decision. There's no Atomos on the board. Damage
Yeah.
count doesn't matter. Mono Wind has no damage threshold besides that.
Yep. Yeah, he's just basically saying, all right, choose something now or you're dead.
Yeah. So Oki has to Typhon, right?
I mean, and even Typhon is scary, right?
yeah.
Because Typhon isn't a forward yet. So he still, even if he Typhons a Barrett or something, Chris still has 2 forwards and is going to push Matt to 6 damage. Like it's,
And I think we know that Chris has 6 CP Cloud in his hand, which he can play off Jesse theoretically. So if Oki plays a blocker, just like a chump blocker, he can still die. We still get the body. We have haste.
Yep.
We still can't play a backup that costs 4 or more.
Yeah. Matt looks like he might be going for that Luso turn. I think he has to be able to Lulu, cast a summon, set Barrett to 5, and Luso on top of that. Like, that's how he does it.
Yeah. Oh, so you say Steve says
He has Lulu. Yeah, I think that's what Matt has to have, right?
I
Like,
don't know how many cards Chris Neal has in his hand right
I think he just has 1.
now. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think I see 2 sides of in Twitch chat here. There's like Mono Wind is dead, and there's Mono Wind can still do it.
Some people are saying, well, Lulu Luso may be enough, and some people are just saying no, Luso. I understand Luso, I just isn't enough on its own. It's got to be a Luso plus the Lulu. We know he has the Luso.
Okay, Chocolate, good start.
Yep.
And there's also the man, Mono Wind should be banned if it can pop off like this.
Yeah.
So that's
Discarding,
2.
discarding Lulu. He must have a second one. Rosa about to get her 3rd count.
Ash. 3. It's not good enough. Draw.
Luso.
We have a
Draw.
lot of chump blockers. So we need Alexander here.
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh? Oh.
Hmm.
So I think Oki's best out here was drawing in a Sura or an Alexander, casting it, then flipping something insane like a Bismarck or a Typhon off the top.
Might have been what he was going for. Yeah, I think it was tough. That was a tough one.
And that's like a kind of a calculated risk, right? He's like, I might just be dead. I have to go for it.
Yeah.
Even if I look like a dummy that I like, this is all I got. Sometimes that's your best play, and you have to hope that you can do it, right?
Yeah, I mean, and the thing to consider, right, is that there's enough 1 CP summons in the deck where it might be something worth doing. If he hasn't seen a 1 CP summon yet, like and his best bet is getting that the Rosa the 5th trigger off, like a Chocobo or Sura or even Alexander gets him there.
Yeah. So he had 6. I think he has at least 6 summons. So I think he's running. So we don't have the deck sheets right now, but I think it's 2 Asura, 2 Alexander, 1 Chocobo.
3 Chocobo summon, Chocomog, 2 Chocomog. So I think it's about 10 summons if I remember correctly.
No, I don't think he only has 1 CP yet.
Oh, you're talking about the summons that you could actually
Yeah.
have been able to cast there? Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have just been 5.
Yeah, 5. But we haven't seen any yet.
Correct.
Unfortunately, we missed. What we do have right now is we can make Rosa untargetable with Chocolate, or we can get a counter.
I mean, he presented enough bodies to where I don't think he's dead.
But he's dying.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard for Oki to rebuild his board to Storm again. Like, at the bare minimum, Rosa has to stay alive. And we probably want to hit a burst.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Barrett basically is going to get to turn sideways for a free point, right?
Right. So I think Chris Neal here is deciding what he wants to do because he has an Amon in hand and a Brynhilder. So he's debating on whether he wants to keep the Brynhilder.
Yeah,
So,
Brynhilder on that's pretty good.
So Ash is a 5K because he doesn't have enough characters to enable it.
Yeah, he's 1 character short. So Barrett can now turn, and then he can offer the trade with Rosa, right?
Is that 7K, right? For Chocobo. That okay, now Yep, trade.
He's
He's thinking.
Yeah. I think he's debating which one's the best one to attack with. He's basically offering the trade with Rosa. He's going to take the first damage, I would imagine here, right? Like, and then
Jumping with Luso on the
Yeah.
second one. Now I think that might be every single Chocobo gone because that was 2 in the damage. He discarded 1 earlier, last turn. So we no longer have any Chocobo summons in the deck in terms of the 2 CP bounce draw. Now I think we're in trouble here. Okay, we're putting a counter. We're gonna need a miracle here.
yeah.
I don't even think we can bounce the Luso.
Well, I think the best thing Matt has to have here is now he has to have enough CP with between a Lulu and Chocobo and Luso, but I don't think he has enough cards.
Right. I think we can Typhon the Barret here and potentially chump block and not die. That's assuming Chris Neal doesn't have a Brynhilder, he doesn't have a 6 CP Cloud.
Correct.
So it looks like he drew Rosa here.
Like, it's interesting. I mean, so he offered the trade with the Rosa. I think the reason that he probably did that was because Luso is his only way back into the game is to be able to Luso, right? Rosa's is a card that is going to enable that, but you have to have the Luso to do it, right?
So we Typhon here. Oki kind of. I think he has 2 cards left in hand.
Yeah. And Chris has a Tifa Kolka. Okay. I think he's debating now just cycling.
Yes, he wants to. He could potentially trade this Kolka for another operative.
Yeah,
he has one in the bin.
I mean, he has the bigs that traded with Rosa, right? So
yeah, I think I would get bigs here.
Yeah.
The Kolka is not. I don't think we want to take a turn off to play back up. Keep running our guys in. I think the best thing Oki can do here is play another win backup. Turn Typhon into a blocker. And hope Chris Neal doesn't draw 6 CP card.
Yep.
Oh, we're getting Ash. That's not bad.
And that would be his third cast of the turn, so he will get to be able to draw a card.
Yep. Okay. So let's see. See, what does Chris Neal do here? Oh, that looks like a Biggs and a Jesse. I think he has everyone. I don't think he has the fire CP to play Tifa.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it, but I mean, Wedge turns sideways here and just kills, basically eats up a forward, right? Like,
Yep. I think
Free
we could
attack.
play Biggs here. I think we could just play out our hand.
yeah, I think that's very reasonable. It's gonna.
Yep, dies. Now we're gonna play Jesse, Biggs. Yep. Here you go. Can you answer 3-1 CP 7Ks?
Yeah.
All right, Oki.
So
What
he's
can we
gonna
do
need.
here?
Yeah. So I mean, we're right, Matt. I think he drew a Luso last turn, right? So he probably just kept the Luso, and that's why he chump blocked with that one.
Yeah, Shinryu would kind of win the game here. Not win the game, completely win the game, but help a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it would definitely kill those forwards, but I don't, I know Matt's list.
We're not a Shinryu gamer
Yeah,
here.
although he is a dragon gamer, and he does like that card
Yeah.
quite a bit. He just didn't find the space for it in Mono Wind.
Or he forgot his full art at home.
Yeah. Not enough stonks.
There were some Shinryu. We did see some Shinryus in this top 16.
Yeah, I mean Xavier rocking it, right?
Yeah, I think another. I don't know. I think actually, I know KP lost to Shinryu and he was playing Mono Wind.
Yeah.
I think it might have been against Xavier though.
There's a possibility. I've seen a few this weekend. I mean, it's still a good card, right? You know.
So K5, Bismarck, bounce Typhon here. Draw. So Oki is probably, I mean, Chris Neal's best draw here is to play is a 6 CP Cloud, played for free. Triple party is still double or triple
Still
party
for-
is still fine.
Yeah, I mean, in this situation, Chris drawing also a Brynhilder with a fire card, pretty gas, right?
Right.
Because you just party attack and then you have lethal with the last forward.
Yeah. I feel like Chris Neal's in this spot where he's like pretty much knows he wins the game, has won the game, but he's like triple checking,
Yeah,
like quadruple checking.
Yeah.
Like there's no way I can mess up this up, right?
Yeah.
No, I think you want a double party attack here in case you
Oh.
draw a fire summon, go for the last point.
Yeah. So there is no Noctis in this deck. Yeah, sorry, chat asking about Noctis winning, but yeah. Yeah, oh, it absolutely would win on the spot, yeah. But turns like actually like last turn is one of the reasons Chris doesn't run Noctis. A lot of times, like I said, he just wants to be able to dump his hand, and
Right.
it's having a light card kind of stops you from doing that. Although party attack synergies are real with Avalanche, Chris said he play tested it quite a bit and just found it wasn't the card he wanted.
Yep.
More often than not.
Really just want to see Chris party attack here, top deck of the Brynhilder.
I mean, so worst case scenario here, right? Chris can party attack. He'll get 2 cards out of it. He'll eat a forward, and then he gets the 6 CP Cloud, plays it, kills the Bismarck anyways, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's totally fine.
Right. I think right now Chris is deciding what he wants to attack with last.
Yeah,
Like, he's like, which one's the least important in case I need to do a single attack?
correct. Yeah.
Even though it probably won't matter that much. The thing is, you still have to have Baron on board 60 Express to like cycle them.
Yeah.
And that's not always a luxury you have. Like we saw Chris Neal not be able to do that. He didn't have Barry got Typhon on the way.
Yeah.
So important thing to do. Note that Chris Neal is searching and then drawing because you don't want to make sure you don't want to run out of clouds. Kind of a nuanced thing that you should be doing when you have two triggers.
There is also an argument though that searching cloud second in this particular situation would be better because then you're more likely to draw into a fire cloud and then like either the 6 or the 5 CP, and then you have the fire CP to guarantee when you
Brain filter draw.
well you would search out you would draw potentially the fire cloud, and then you could search out another copy of it so you can actually play it main phase 2, kill the Bismarck.
Okay.
Oh well, he got there anyways.
Main 2. This is assuredly dead because we know that Math doesn't have a Chocobo left anymore.
Yeah. He's gonna kill the Bismarck, grab a Tifa, get another cloud. Very interesting here.
And this will be probably Oki's last turn.
Yeah.
I don't really see a way out of this.
Yeah, it's not looking too good for Matt. I think Matt's gonna kind of do some quick math and then figure out. Yeah, he's giving it to
Extending the
Chris.
hand.
He knows he just can't get there.
Very well played by Chris Neal. Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations to Chris, man, taking it down. So stopping Matt from winning his second
ReRaise,
yeah.
Yep.
I Chris actually grinded a lot of Avalanche going into this event. He was unsure of the deck. He actually was playtesting. He had Fire Ice. He brought Fire Ice with him. A lot of people may know him from when he played a lot of Fire Ice, and he ultimately made the decision to bring Avalanche, and obviously it paid off. So
Could be in
congrats.
fact that half our Airbnb was playing mono wins.
Yeah. So
We'll see if we can get him on for an interview.
yeah, let me go see if I can grab him real quick. I know a lot of Avalanche. It's obviously a rewarding feeling now, grinding for probably a solid month. How do you feel?
We don't have a camera yet.
Uh-oh.
You can ask them to switch it on.
Well, we have audio.
Yeah,
we have audio. Okay.
I should play Fire Ice. No, no, that was actually a debate, but that would have been bad. No, I mean Avalanche. Yeah, I basically the reason I was playing the deck is because I just wanted to play whatever the best aggro deck was. I think it is the best aggro deck probably. So I wanted to play aggro specifically because I can't win with anything else in this format. So I was like, well, it's gonna be like the best aggro deck. So I was playing for like a month, retooled a bunch, and yeah, it came out pretty good. Put some bad cards in, took them out, and ended up with a good list. So
I think the chat asked a lot about why you weren't playing Light Noctis in the race.
Light Noctis. So I was playing that originally. I kept running into the spot where I needed like 6 CP. I needed to put like 6 CP cloud, and I had a Noctis stuck in my hand, and it was annoying. So I just cut it. I mean, it also felt kind of like a win more card a lot of times. Like a lot of times, if you're party attacking with Avalanche, you're just winning anyway. So not just gives you like a win kind of thing. So I just didn't think it was worth it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the fair assessment. It was funny because there were a couple situations where chat was even saying, Light Noctis right here wins the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then we were like, wait, but he just played 3 forwards because he did have Light Noctis.
So it's kind of goes back and forth. But obviously, again, congratulations. Do you have any like highlight matches? Obviously, the last one there was pretty tight. It was really good. Obviously, 2 friends duking it out from locals. But any highlights really from the weekend?
Couple stand out. Well, the last game I just played was pretty insane because I don't know if you guys saw my opening hand on the camera or not.
We saw you were taking a really long time.
Yeah.
To decide.
Well, I kept the hand that was just mono forward. I had like Barrett, what was it, Wedge Jesse or something. I can't remember what exactly it was. And I was like, okay, I think against mono win, this wins. because it's either I had no backup, so it's either I mull and like play a normal game, which seems bad against mono win.
Right.
So I was just like, I'm just gonna play 3 forwards and hope I get there, basically.
Yeah.
And we saw you had wedge, so we thought the consideration was like, oh, is wedge that important? We didn't really know the rest of it.
That was actually
Yeah.
part of it. I had Barrett wedge. If it was like Barrett and another operative, I might have mulled because wedge is really good. Like any backup he has is potentially good. Right. The only way I get punished on that is if he has Typhon in his opening hand.
Yeah. And I think that was something we called. It's funny. We said it's basically a bluff. Do you have Typhon or not?
Yeah.
Like,
If he has Typhon, it's gonna be a really hard game probably. So I kind of gamble a little bit. I will say the most memorable moment of the tournament was against Kelly Thatcher. I had to cycle a carbuncle to draw a 6 CP cloud exactly to win the game, and it actually happened. So it was like a 1 in 8 chance, I think, at the time, and that like got me through. So
I think that was your top 4 match, right?
yeah, yeah.
yeah. For those at home that don't know, that was a pretty intense match because I think you were on turns, right, when that happened.
Yeah. Oh, that was my top 8 match.
Top 8.
Top 4 was against Azul.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was like the last turn of the game, I think. So it was my turn 2 and turns. If it goes to turn 3, he wins because he has more damage. I had to draw cloud, remove his blocker, attack for 3 and kill him. Exactly. It was insane.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts. And even at that, like, even though I think you went through that sequence, like Kelly still almost had a chance to hit the EX from Mora.
Yeah.
And then it was like, if he drew the right color card, he could have cactuared. Like it was an
was close,
insane,
yeah.
tightly close game there at the end. Yeah.
Actually insane. Like, I mean, this game's really insane right now with the bursts and all that. Like, it's so swingy. Like, anything could happen. You know, I dodged just enough bursts to win. It's basically what happened.
Right.
That's basically
This is what the aggro player is speaking. You know,
right.
from that perspective, an aggro gamer is kind of scary, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and it was something that we were talking about going into this weekend. We expected to see a lot more Avalanche here this weekend. We really didn't see it. It was kind of underrepresented. What made you choose that deck? Obviously, you said you wanted an aggro deck. You wanted something that you thought you could win with, and it being the best aggro deck. Why do you think other players were scared to bring it?
I don't know if they were scared. I think they might have been bored of the deck. To be honest with you, like the deck's like 3 sets old now, so like everyone's like, it's like the old deck. Let's still play Soiree, whatever, it's newer, or whatever else, new decks. Avalanche, it kind of feels like Soiree kind of like overtook it as like the theme deck of choice, you know. So I don't know why they didn't bring it, but I don't know. It kind of fits my play style. It might not fit everyone's play style, right? Just getting in there. So it's hard to say.
Yeah. Do you even have an Opus 17 card in the list now that I think about it?
I have one Arciela. That's my only Opus 17 card.
That's the Opus 17 deck. All right. I respect it.
Not all the other ones. I was playing the other ones and they didn't work out.
Yeah. I think like the lease and stuff like that. Yeah.
I want Open 17 to be represented, so
There's no way we're playing that 3 CP backup that changes jobs from Opus 18.
I don't think that's a thing. No, I really don't think that's a thing.
But okay, well, yeah, congratulations. Do you have some shout outs, anybody you want to thank for the weekend?
Yeah, shout out to all my boys, and only including you two that I stay with for the last 3-4 days. Everyone and Matt, the whole crew, they know who they are. And also, Angelica and Nikki, my wife, for Hank putting up with us and all that good stuff. And she probably wants to leave right now, but it is what it is. So we're good.
So you're saying we need to drag out the interview, right? And like keep it going.
Yeah, exactly.
milk the time a little bit, but yeah. All right. Well, I'm pretty sure everyone's hungry. You're a little tired, maybe brain a little exhausted. So I think we can call it here. Congratulations on a really, really well performance over the weekend. Some strong calls, some strong plays. Thanks to everyone for sticking it out with us for the course of the weekend. Thank you to the shop for hosting a wonderful event, Tabletop Tavern. White Mage for putting all this together, along with Inez. You guys did a fantastic job this weekend. Really, thank you for everything.
Yep. Thank you.
So thanks everyone. Have a wonderful night. I I don't think there's anything left for OP, so we'll see y'all maybe next year.
Thanks, everyone.